Good morning, folks. How are all you handsome people today? I hope you're well. A few minutes for people to get on board while we look and see who's in. Morning, Desiree. Morning, Eddie. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Akis. Morning, Rosie McGregor. Who else we got? Morning, Stephen. Morning, Wolfpet. Morning, Alex. Melanie. Lorraine. Anna. Stephen McNeil. Hi, Alistair. Hi, Alex. Kirsty. Who else we got? Morning, Mary. You be careful out there on the road, lass. Morning, Barbara. Morning, Peter. See the other Davids there. Morning, Scott. Morning, June. Morning, Robert. Morning, George. Morning, Gillian. Right, back down the way, see if we'll go, everybody. So far. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, good morning, Kirsty Hamilton. So we got two Kirsties in this morning. Morning, wake up and smell the rosemaries. Morning, Paul. Right, numbers are climbing nicely, folks, so let's get this one underway, okay? It's Andy Truck Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is sunny at the moment. 14 degrees, no rain in the forecast. Today's high, where I am, will get to 17 degrees. Humidity, for the other David, is at 94%. Wind speed will be gusting at 17 kilometres per hour, or if you're old school, 10.6 miles per hour. The pollen count is low, and the main allergen is grass. Morning, Andy Scott Bryan. Anyway, that's what the weather's like here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look out your own bloody windy. Morning, Jim Soralpa. Anyway, this weekend, folks, Saturday, is the Edinburgh March. Now, I'll be there, and I'll be streaming it from 12:30 onwards for all of you who can't make it. Right after this programme, I'll get into the command centre. I'll create a studio for it, and that way it'll be on my phone and ready to go when I hit Edinburgh. Okay, so I'll look forward to seeing a lot of you in Edinburgh. Round up everybody you can. Let's make it a big one. All right. Okay, let's move on. First up this morning, we've got the Scotsman. Just to let you know, folks, morning, Reagan a Week. Folks, Reagan a Week goes live right after this. Somebody stick the link into the chat, please. Thank you. Right, as I say, first up's the Scotsman. Now, a lot of the papers are running around the one story this morning, and a lot of them are absolutely talking nonsense, and I'll explain why when we get into it, all right? But first up this morning, we've got the Scotsman. The Scotsman has Swinney cuts cash for arms firms which supply Israel. Technically speaking, he didn't, but we'll get a wee bit more of that in a minute as well. Okay. But it's been decided, I'll see if I can get myself in short, it's been decided that any company that produces arms in Scotland and who supplies arms to Israel will not be getting any government money. There's a reason behind it, and we'll get a wee bit more of that as we get further in, because this headline comes up a couple of times before we get the trash and the English rags printed here in Scotland. Okay, let's take that down. Get rid of it. If we can find it. Oh, I had a post this morning. That's the one. Okay. After the Scotsman, we've got the Fail. We'll stick it up. This one's got the headlines that are covering both sides of the border this morning. We'll put it up. The Scottish Daily Fail. It goes on. Is Starmer too spineless that he won't sack his deputy PM and housing minister who dodged 40,000 in stamp duty? And the main headline, SNP gesture politics on Gaza. Now, at least the Scottish Government and the Scottish Parliament have been condemning what's happening in Gaza and in Palestine, including the West Bank. And now they've decided they're not going to give Scots money or Scottish taxpayers money to companies who are involved in the supply of Israel. They have banned public procurement of any products coming from the occupied territories. And they've taken 5 measures. You'll find them printed all the papers a day. Now, as for gesture politics, well, the reason why this paper's coming away with that shit is because Jock's going to be put in his place. Foreign policy is reserved. So Jock's not allowed to open his gob when it comes to foreign policy, according to this fucking rag. We're not supposed to have an opinion on foreign policy, folks. That's no your business. Shut up, Jock, get back in your fucking box. That's what that headline says, just so it's translated for you. All right. Now, but the first of the 2 headlines there on Starmer, that's an interesting one, but we'll get a wee bit more of that when we get to the knuckle dragging rag. Okay, so let's drop that and move on. We're going to do it. Let's say some of the headlines today are absolute nonsense. Okay, after that we've got the National. So let's stick the National up and see what it's got. Well, this is a wee bit more of the truth. Nearer to the truth. Scotland votes to boycott Israel. Now, what's interesting about that particular headline, folks, is it tells you a wee bit about how democracy works. The motion to boycott Israel was put in front of the Parliament and all the MSPs voted on it. They voted in favour of it. So this isn't just a Scottish Government move, this is a Scottish Parliament move, it's cross-party. That could well cause a few problems for Anna Sarwar and the Labour Party here in Scotland, as their imperial masters down that road deny the Westminster Parliament a say on how the situation should be handled, and they have prioritised arms sales and the economy above the lives of the Palestinian people. But here in Scotland, it's no an SNP gesture, it's an SNP motion, and it was passed by the Parliament. That's how democracy works. Now, if how to deal with the situation in Israel and Gaza was put to the Westminster Parliament, I have absolutely no doubt that the MPs down that road would vote the same way as the Scottish Parliament. But as the leadership down that road has prioritised the economy over the lives of the poor people of Palestine, then the poor people of Palestine will die. Westminster wants its grubby hands on its share of the profits to be made by the clearance of Gaza and the removal of the Palestinian people and the completion of something called the Greater Israel Project. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But most of you here will have seen Netanyahu in the UN and his map of the Greater Israel Project. There was no Palestine. There was no West Bank. There was no Gaza, just Israel. And as I say, the UK wants their share of the gas that's in the Gaza basin, and they want their share of the construction of the new playground that will become the Riviera on the Med, or whatever you want to call it. We call it Trump's playground. Know that you'll live long enough to see it. Well, let's take that down. See, that tells a story, that one. The story is that it was the Scottish Parliament that passed a motion to boycott Israel. It wasn't the SNP government. Right, let's move on. After the National, with the Times, and what's the Times got? Well, this has got what all the papers in England have got today. The Times has. Apparently, Prince William pressed Queen Elizabeth to intervene in the referendum. I find that fucking hard to believe. But if he did, the wee prick better stay down that road. Anyway, Rayner on brink after stamp duty admission. All right. Okay. And a ethics watchdog to investigate Deputy Prime Minister. Starmer will do everything to save her. We'll get to that in a minute. The Starmer-Rayner situation. Because next up we've got the Loony Rag, the Express. And then we'll get to the point where we can explain to you what the fuck's going on with Starmer and Rayner. Okay. So let's take down the Times. Get shot yet. And put up the Loony Rag, the Express. Till I get into the fucking truth here. Some of these people have got really short memories in the press. And some of them like to play you like fucking idiots. So where is the Loony Rag, the Express? There it's there. If PM had backbone, he would sack her. Okay, let's get this fucking cleared up. Some of you may remember, as far back as a year ago, when Starmer was picking his cabinet, and all the talk of the steamy was he didn't want Rayner as deputy PM, but it wasn't his. There was nothing he could do about it because guess what? The leader and deputy leader position in the Labour Party is elected by the members. In order to get shot at her, there has to be a candidate that stands against her at the next party conference. And that MP must have 20% support from his MPs, plus the support of three affiliate associations, 2 of which must be trade unions, and 5% of each of those trade unions' affiliate members must back the new candidate for Deputy First Minister. The reason why Starmer hasn't sacked her is because he can't. He can't sack her. Somebody needs to stand against her at the party conference to get shot here. Will that happen? I don't know. The party conference is coming hell of fast. So I doubt they've got time. But Starmer can't sack her. He could sack her as housing minister, but he can't sack her as deputy prime minister. And you don't have to believe me just to prove it. You can go to the House of Commons, to the library, and find out how Labour leaders are elected. Leadership elections to the Labour Party. Vacancies, nominations, Stage 2 ballot, leadership challenges. Leader MPs cannot formally hold a vote of confidence in the leader/deputy leader. However, they may initiate a leadership challenge each year prior to the annual session of the party conference. An MP wishing to challenge an incumbent leader must be supported by 20% of Labour MPs. If enough support is gathered to initiate a Stage 2 membership ballot, the incumbent leader is automatically on the ballot paper and they do not need to seek nomination from MPs. It goes further when you go into a mayor and it tells you about the need to have the support of affiliate members or affiliate associations in order to be put on the ballot. But it has to be highlighted that all these rags screaming about Starmer, no backbone and he should sack her, they're only talking about his housing minister. Because he doesn't have the ability, he doesn't have the power to sack her as the deputy leader. But hey ho, the right wing rags, they're getting a bit of traction out of this one. Starmer would love to get shot here. He would love to get shot here when he was selecting his cabinet. And he'd love to get shot here now. And he's in the process of doing that. Because there's questions here that haven't been asked. But we've got time for that. Because this headline's not gone away. So, next up, we have the Rancid. Now, I don't put the Rancid up, but guess what? The Rancid's in the same story. But it's given a bit of purple piss and sympathy to Miss Rayner. So, what's the Rancid go? It's Deputy PM opens up over stamp duty. Rayner, it's all for my kids. There you go, folks. Principles out the window. And she becomes another Tory scumbag, tax dodger. It's all for her kids. Is that no that it's just all these Tory tax dodging fuckers use? I don't want to pay tax, I want to leave it to my kids. Shocker. Principles out the window for our kids. Allegedly. Lot of shite. Yesterday we had a picture of her rocking up outside Downing Street, looking like a fucking rock star. Nannies go at the kids. Rayner's too busy for that nonsense. That's if our kids are still that young. But it's off the kids my arse. And I mean my arse. Hey John, thanks very much mate, you're being awfully generous. Don't vote upon the Reform. Post this every day until May. Nigel Farage is a danger to Scotland. At least one post a day, please. Sounds like a plan, John. Folks, you hear John. You have your own timelines, you have your own social media. Start to combat the fascist little shite. I see you get a new one ripped for him. And the American Senate yesterday, or was it Congress? I think it was Congress. The Congress hearing to get his arse kicked for him. And in that meeting, something was pointed out to Mr. Farage and to the worldwide press and to the press here in the UK. And that is, this man isn't he worthy of the attention he's getting. He leads a minor party with only four MPs, or is it three now? Because a few of them have had the whip removed. Farage is having a rough time in the US. I was just talking about that actually, Kirsty. Anyway, as I say, the UK press want to ignore him and belittle him the same way that the American Congress has. But as to Rayner, it's all for my kids. Says every fucking tax dodging, swindling shit scumbag that ever put on a Tory fucking rosette, whether it be a red one or a blue one. Gravy trainers. They're above the law. They're above paying taxes like the rest of us. Didn't it take her fucking long, did it? Went from being a nothing in a housing estate, nursing for a living, to being a millionaire. Just become a politician. It's quick. It's easy. As Maximilian Robespierre always says, you want to make money? Go like your bank manager. Borrow some money and make a donation to the party in power. Get yourself a nice contract. And of course the politician gets a side use at every time. Rayner must have been busy, because apparently she's got £6 million in the bank. That's a lot of sidies and brown envelopes, that is, folks. Right, next up we get Telegraph, so let's get Telegraph up. Oh, I'm going to get rid of the Express yet. I guess I better get rid of that. Right, let's get Telegraph up. The Telegraph has: I didn't pay the right tax, but it's still not my fault. Oh, I wish I had £1 for every time I heard a politician fucking say that. Well, it was your fault, alright. You decided that you were going to take dodgy legal advice, if there is such a thing, if you were given such a thing. Tell you what though, Angela, it'll be easy. Just publish the legal advice you got. Legal advice tends to come written down. So publish the legal advice, Angela. Prove your fucking innocence. Because I don't believe you tax dodging red Tory scumbag. Unbelievable. It's not my fault. I got bad advice. Publish the fucking advice. Let the public make their mind up, Miss Rayner. Don't believe you. You're just another fucking gravy trainer who thinks they're above paying fucking taxes, even if it is for your kids. Not my fault. It wasn't my fault. Big boy done it and ran away. No, she went looking for a tax loophole. And somebody gave her what she thought was a tax loophole. But folks, there's more questions than answers here, so we may as well get into it. We know she was angling to replace Starmer. Who leaked her tax affairs? Who leaked her tax affairs? Who made this public? Who's going after her? Who wanted shot her? Who wanted to inflict the damage on Labour? Or was it Starmer himself? Was it Starmer himself? Is he wanting shot her? He never wanted her as Deputy First Minister in the first fucking place. There's a lot more questions than answers here. Who leaked her information? Who made it public that she was tax dodging? Why was it made public? A lot of good questions there need to be answered. And at this point in time, we're not getting them. At this point in time, we're not getting them. Right, that was a Telegraph. Let's get shot of that. Next up, we've got Angela Rayner. Again, no doubt. The Guardian this time. Let's see what it's got for us. The Guardian has: Rayner in peril after admitting she underpaid stamp duty on flats. She didn't fucking admit it. Somebody outed her. The question is, who outed her and why? Huh? Yeah. Who outed her and why? What was the ulterior motive? Nice one. They say it's not a good image for the Labour Party. Just portrays them once again as another Tory party. Fuba. I guess you've got a lot of work to do in Shettleston to prevent that stupidity then, haven't you? Apparently, David Linden is reporting that some folk in Shettleston are saying they'll vote SNP1 and Reform 2 to help them out with the votes. Ah, fuck. I will. Way it goes. Right, that was the Guardian. Next up, what we got? The eye next. Yep. Rayner fights for political survival after she's caught failing to pay enough tax on flat. Now that's a wee bit nearer the truth. Truth is, of course, she was caught trying to avoid paying tax. Simple as that. Failing to pay enough. Let's call it what it was. She was soliciting advice that would allow her to avoid paying tax. She went looking for legal advice to find out how to avoid paying the full stamp duty on the new property she was buying. So she actually went out her way to get legal advice on how to dodge the tax. Sounds pretty fucking Tory to me, but sounds very Tory to me. There are whole legal firms set up in England, in London especially, and there will be here in Scotland as well, to help people avoid paying tax. Miss Rayner went to a legal company, asked for legal advice on how to avoid tax. And apparently it was bad legal advice she got. She must have been doing it on the cheap, rather than what the Tories do and go looking for the very best to help them avoid paying tax. As I say, but the question is going to be, who grassed on her? Who outed her? And why? The plot thickens. Nothing better than a good plot. Right, next up, of course, we've got the Metro. So we'll put the Metro up. The Metro has a no-brainer. And this is basically telling her, resign, you witch. It was a no-brainer. It fucking definitely was Rayner. The evidence is there. She openly admits that she went for legal advice on how to avoid paying full stamp duty on the property she was paying. That there is an admission that she was trying to avoid paying the tax. She went looking for legal advice on how to avoid paying the fucking tax. She's admitted that herself. The case is black and white. She got bad legal advice. She went looking for advice on how not to pay the 40,000 fucking pound in stamp duty. She went looking for it. Instead of just taking a look at it and going, £800,000 for property, that's £40,000 stamp duty, I guess I'm just going to have to pay it. No, she then went looking for legal advice on how to avoid fucking paying it. She admits that herself, that she went looking for legal advice on how to avoid paying this tax and got bad advice on how to avoid paying this tax. No sympathy for her, none. She wanted to avoid paying the tax. Mental. Right, let's get rid of that. Right, next up we've got the scum. We don't put the scum up. What's the scum go for us a day? Dating fiend guilty. Tinder rapist nailed on gym rings. Sickle fled to Spain and was snared training at a Spanish beach. So apparently a dating fiend who's now been found guilty of raping somebody for Tinder, who had done a runner, has been snatched off a beach in Spain, brought back and found guilty of rape. There you go. I didn't bother getting into any more than that because crime story, no my business. Politics is what we do. Current affairs is what we do. Right. And last up we'll get a star. What's the star go for us a day? Maybe you might get the book done. But surprisingly, today, the star has actually gone on a serious story. How long can stamp duty row deputy PM remain? Angela Blamer, Teary Minister, I nearly resigned. You fucking should have resigned. You didn't nearly nothing. What a lot of nonsense. But at least you've got it right, Angela Blamer. Because she's blaming the legal advice that she went looking for so that she didn't have to pay tax. Remember, folks, she went looking for this legal advice. She went looking for it. That says Tory scum to me. That says tax avoiding Tory scum to me. That says tax avoiding a red Tory scum to me. But you know what they say? Once a Tory, always a Tory. Okay. Angela Blamer. Sir Larry, you should have a laugh with this. You should be able to pick this up and run with it, sir. Because let's face it, she's actually admitted the crime herself. The crime was trying to avoid tax. Thought she was above it. The rest would have paid the stamp duty. Miss Rayner, she went looking for legal advice on how to avoid paying the tax. So I'm sure, Sir Larry, that the AI experts out there at all chats should be able to do something with that. Okay, right, that's it for this morning, folks. David and I will be here this afternoon, 4 p.m, with some other subjects to talk about. And in the meantime, you look after yourself. Thanks very much to those who've contributed to the food bank fund this morning. And we'll see you all this afternoon. Angela Blamer. Yep. That's